As we talk about excellent expository preaching, we're focusing on 5 major areas that preachers need to think about. We started by talking about content, making sure it's richly biblical. Then we've been talking about clarity, making sure our sermons are clear to those who hear. And now we want to move to the third of the 5 major essentials, and that is interest. Interest. You see, a good expository sermon is not only edifying, it's engaging. It not only helps people, it holds people. It gains interest at the very start of the message, and then it sustains interest all the way to the very end. And if we want to be excellent expositors, we need to learn how is it that we can be those engaging, interesting expositors. In this session, and you can pull out the session notes to follow along, I want to talk to you about gaining interest at the very start of your sermon, how to draw people in, how to invite them in, how to bring them with you so that as you go into the text, they're saying, I'm with you, Pastor. I'm listening, Pastor. How do you do that? What I want to share with you has been incredibly helpful for me. I learned it many, many years ago, have been doing it for many years, and I find consistently when I do this, it helps people get on board of the sermon and stay with me as I start into it. I want to show you there are 4 things that you need to do in your introduction. And if you do these 4 things, you will increase the interest level of your hearers. It will help them. You will serve them by helping them get on board and joining you on the journey through the sermon. 4 things that a good introduction should do. You see, we think often of an introduction as just like the starting point. It's the platform from which we embark on the message. It's the doorway through which we walk to start the message. But I'm saying to you, it's actually more than that. It's not just the doorway into the message. It's the doorway we stand and say to others, hey, would you come with me? We're going to go in here. And you're giving them an invitation that is so interesting that by the time you open the text and begin to go into it, they're saying, I'm with you because I want to go. I want to go to where you're going. What you said, I want to be there. So I want to show you 4 things that if you'll do these 4 things, they will help increase interest from the very start, the downbeat of your sermon. Number 1, what do? Well, good introductions make a human connection. One of the things you have to do when you start your sermon is you need to connect with your hearers, make a personal touch. That's one of the reasons I talked in the last session about internalizing your intro. Because part of what you're doing in the introduction is you're just connecting to people. In our day and age, especially for people who don't know you, say they're a guest, they've come to church, this is their first time hearing you, they're kind of assessing who you are as a person. And before they ever ask, is what you're saying true, they're asking a prior question, and that is, do I like you? Do I think you're somebody I would like to listen to? Do you seem like a good person? Do you seem like a natural person? Do you seem like a credible person? So one of the things you do in your introduction is you make a human connection. And you can do that through a myriad of ways. You start with a story. You start with a welcome. You come at this in many different ways. In fact, you don't want to have the same way that you start every sermon. One of my profs used to say, don't always jump out from behind the same tree. So every intro shouldn't be the same. It's varied, it's different. But each time you're making a human connection. So that's one thing. The second thing you got to do in a good intro is you introduce the theme, the topic, the passage of the day. Now, I didn't say you introduce the big idea. I favor waiting on the big idea for later. I'll tell you why in our next session. But I do think you have to tell people, this is what we're talking about. This is the theme. This is the topic. This is the subject. This is the passage. You have to introduce that so they know, okay, I know what this is going to be about today. So you make a connection first. You point out the theme, the topic, the passage that you're going to be in. That's 1 and 2. Now, here's my contention. Most preachers do that. Most preachers get up and they make some kind of a connection and they introduce the theme, the topic, and the passage. They do that. But it's number 3 and number 4 that set apart interesting, engaging expositors from all the rest. See, most preachers will do 1 and 2 of the 4 things, but most preachers don't do number 3 and 4. So what's the third thing you need to do when you make your introduction? Yeah, you make a connection. And yes, you introduce the theme, but here's the third thing. You touch a genuine need in the lives of your hearers. Let me say that again. You touch a genuine need, an honest, genuine need in the lives of your hearers. You touch an area where they're saying, ouch, or I need that, or yes, that's an issue for me. You touch that. Now you say, well, where do I get that need? You don't just make it up. It's going to come out of what you've studied, where the passage is going. As you've studied this, as you've studied the historical backstories, you've exegetically worked your way through, you've come to see, what is this passage addressing that people need? And when you, in your introduction, you bring that out, you touch the need. You say, hey, today, we're going to be dealing with this area. And essentially what you're showing is you need this. And when they hear that and they say, yes, you're right, Pastor, I need that, they're going to be with you. They're saying, if you're going there, I want to go with you. It's like you're standing at the platform of a train station. And in your introduction, you're saying, hey, let me tell you where this train is going today. This train is going to that destination. If they out there are listening going, I need to go to that destination, I have that need. If they feel that, they're going to say, where do I get a ticket for this train? I want on. And then they're going to go with you as you start down this journey towards addressing that need in their life. So you've made an introduction that connects, that introduces topic, theme, passage, but then you've touched a genuine need in their life. That's number 3. And here's the fourth thing. And again, we as preachers don't always do this, but if we will, it raises interest. We not only touch a genuine need, that's 3, but here's 4. We point to the sermon's purpose. We point to the pastoral purpose of this sermon. We point to what we hope happens as a result of looking together at God's Word. We say something like this: this is where we're headed, and here's my hope for you today. This is what I'm praying, is that today you will learn this. We give people hope that if I go with you on this journey, I got that need, there's hope at the end of this journey that I could come away better suited, better equipped, better transformed by what I learned today. Now, if you do all of those 4 things, if you will do those consistently, it'll look different each introduction, but if you do those, people will hear and they'll say, I'm interested. You see, most preachers, we're interested in the text, but we forget something. We forget the fact that when people come on Sunday morning, they are often bombarded by a host of other things that are distracting them from listening. Right? You know that. The people that come on a Sunday, they've got all kinds of other things. Maybe they had a bad morning with their wife or their husband. Maybe on the way to church that day, they heard squeaking in the brakes and they're thinking, oh no, I'm going to have the brakes done. I don't have the money for that. Maybe they walked in with a health challenge. Maybe they're worried about something that's going to happen at work on Monday. They've got all these competing things for their headspace. And what we often fail to realize is that when they sit down, they're there in body, but they may not be there heart, mind, soul. So what we do in the introduction is we serve them. And the way we serve them is saying, hey, look, I know you got a lot of other things in your head, but essentially today, this is what we're going to talk about, and this is something you need, and they're going, I need that. This is where we're going, I need it. And it helps them push away all the competing things and focus in on God's Word. This is a way you serve them, by helping them see, I got to stay in because I need this today. You see, rather than assume their interest, you earn their interest. And you do that by connecting with them, introducing the subject, theme, passage, but then touching a genuine need that's going to come out today's message and showing them that there's hope. You point to the purpose. What I want to do for the last part of this session is give you an example or 2 of how you could do that. Let me just show you how I try to do that. Not perfectly, but I try to do that. And as I give you an introduction, I'm going to do one as if I were preaching a sermon, first of all, on Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 to 3. As I give you an introduction, see if you can spot me making a human connection, pointing to the theme of the passage, touching a genuine need, and then pointing to the purpose or the hope. See if you can do that, okay?